serve in the shadows, we carry the weight with stories that matter. Don't let them wait. And every story matters, from bases to war zones, from tearful reunions to cold nights alone. Spouses and veterans, hearts that won't quit, telling the truth about all of it.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife, and the holiday seasons are fast approaching. And so, if you are a military family, it is when you need to start thinking about what you are going to do for the holidays. And if you need help, what organizations you can reach out to. Also, for those who are not part of the military community but would like to help military families, it's a good time to start thinking about how you can do that as well. And typically, I'll go over a bunch of different organizations that are fabulous at doing that. But this year, I'm doing it slightly different. This episode, we're going to have a Navy spouse join us, and we're going to talk about how we make the holidays special as military families. So come join us for this conversation and find out about resources out there for the holidays. I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife. Thanks for coming on the podcast today. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to my listeners.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a Navy wife currently stationed in Bahrain. We've been in the Navy for 10 years. We have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and we're just trying to figure it all out as we go, even though we feel like we're almost being in 10 years means like we're, almost senior, but there's something new all the time, and we're enjoying this adventure.
Yeah, it's always changing, and I think it's funny because like we've been in for 12 years now, I think. I even lost track. 10 years I lost track. I just know we're past 10 years at this point. I'm pretty sure it's 12 years. My husband always corrects me because I throw out a number and he's like, "No, it's this." I'm like, "Okay. That's your job. I don't really know." I'm pretty sure it's 12 years though. But you just get to the point where you're like, "Okay, I know I don't know everything, and I know that there will be something I don't expect, but I'm just gonna roll with it because I've learned that at least."
Yes, Semper Gumby.
Yup, always flexible. My other thing is like, and again, people who listen to the podcast will hear me say this a million times. My plans are in jello, not concrete, firm but flexible.
Yes, I love it.
Because that just was a really good mental image for me. It was so hard. I come from a large Irish Italian family. So every family gathering as a kid was huge and just lots of people talking loudly and kids running around everywhere. And we got together for every holiday, like Labor Day, every little holiday, my whole huge family got together. And so we got into the military and the holidays come up, and I don't remember which holiday. I think it was Memorial Day was our first duty station holiday. And I started asking people, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And they're like, "It's Memorial Day. Why would I do anything?" And I'm like, "What?" I didn't know how to handle it. Like, I did not know how to handle a holiday without like 50 people in a house and more food than anyone could humanly consume. So it was such a culture shock for me. I'm getting used to it now, and I actually kind of enjoy quiet holidays sometimes.
Yes.
Well, what has it been like for you? What have you done to adapt?
So I come, my family of origin is, we're 5 people, but we lived away from my extended family growing up until I was 14. So I didn't really experience family holidays until I was 14. So I was already accustomed to, like, you get together with your neighbors or church members or whatever, or just your little family, and you do that. And then we moved closer to cousins and we had big family gatherings. But then, like, 6 years later, I left to make my way in the great wide world. And then I moved across the country and I lived on my own for the next 6 years. And in those 6 years, I kind of started figuring out what holidays were for me, what they meant. And sometimes it was gathering with friends, sometimes it was doing my own thing, which ones really did anything at all. Like I would, yeah, like I did different things for different holidays. I always went home for Christmas. back to my parents, except for the year I got to go visit my grandparents who were serving a mission for our church in England. And it was just
Oh,
expensive.
wow.
It was just as expensive that year to go travel to England to go visit my grandparents for a week as it was to go where I'd done a study abroad. I was already familiar, or to go home. So obviously I chose England. But I traveled for Christmas to family. Other than that, I did things on my own. And then my husband and I got married, and we spent the next 4 years going back and forth between our families for Christmas. And that was especially weird the first one. It would have been weird for him, but it was weirder for me because we got married in December and then Christmas was a week later. So I've now been married for a week and I'm spending Christmas with a family I barely know and people I've barely met. But it was a lot of fun. And it's worked out where we love each other's families and we love that. But then we got stationed over, we joined the Navy and got stationed overseas. And so once again, it was what do these holidays mean? And we knew when we moved to Japan that we were not planning on coming back really anytime in those next few years. It was just expensive. There was so much to do and see in the area. And we honestly actually traveled to places to see our family so much over the first 4 years of our marriage. We're like, guys, it's time to come see us. We live somewhere cool. You come to us.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
we held firm to that, and everybody but my sister on both sides of our family ended up coming at some point, but not for holidays, and that's okay. So it was then up to us to figure out what does this mean. We moved in October, so we packed Halloween costumes we actually planned on Halloween costumes based out of things we could pack out of our regular clothes. So that year I was Arthur Dent from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I wore pajamas and a robe. And I don't remember what my husband was, probably Ford Prefect. I think we were basically normal clothes, but made a little weird and just found that
Yeah.
we were living out of a suitcase, and I think we'd been in our new apartment about a week. And then our stuff arrived just before Christmas. So we actually got to celebrate Christmas there, but we had a little tiny tree that we put on top of a wrapped box from our PCS. And so we just took some wrapping paper and made a cute little, so our Christmas tree that was 3 foot now became like 5 foot because we had this big box that we used. We started, instead of alternating Christmases back home, we realized we really love quiet Christmases. But we started alternating Christmas traditions. So we each have a Christmas traditional breakfast. And so we started, okay, well, it's your year, we'll do your family's breakfast, and next year we'll do mine. And so we just started looking at it that way and trying to figure it out what we were going to do. One of the years my husband was deployed, except he was deployed in country. He was able to come home for about 2 days. And so that was our Christmas, and we packed it all back up the next day because I didn't want to face packing Christmas back up without him. And so we had Christmas and our anniversary in about 48 hours, and then he was back on his ship. We just kept figuring out what to do with each different holiday. We had like Thanksgiving with some friends. We discovered a new tradition. Like for 2 years, we celebrated with the same family, and should we ever find ourselves back with them again, we'll resurrect that tradition. And that was the beginning of our figuring out how to celebrate holidays as the two of us, and eventually as the four of us now that we have our two kids. And as with many things in our lives, we've done that pretty intentionally, and I think it's served us really, really well, especially as we're back overseas again, in a country that really doesn't even celebrate any of the same holidays we do. And so we really have to be intentional about making certain experiences meaningful, especially for our kids, but also for us, and which ones we really want to prioritize, value, and spend our energy on. And we hardly packed any of our decorations because we've left a lot of things in storage this time. So we're just being really extra intentional about how to do it. So when you asked your question and I responded to it, I was like, yeah, I actually have some thoughts because we have found ways to, over the years, add new traditions, keep some, make new ones. Maybe made some notes if you want me to. I can break it down for you.
Tell me. Yeah, what we always do the 12 days of Christmas, but to make it easy, because we're a military family and I only have so many extra brain cells to put on extra things, we give out a like wooden nativity every year. And I already have it all set up. And so I prep it all before the 12 days of Christmas start. And so each day we just grab a bag and drop it off. And my kids are old enough now that if they can walk it over to the person's house themselves sometimes. And they're so used to, dude, we started it when they were 5. They are not sneaky as 5-year-olds. 5-year-olds are so not sneaky. We
No.
got caught for the first like 3 years straight. So just don't expect them to be sneaky. But it's so much fun because they're like, hee hee, I'm doing something sneaky, but it's a good thing. Anyway, they loved it. So what are some things you guys have done to make things special?
Well, one of the things I thought about was one of our favorite new ones, which, as I mentioned, we used to alternate Christmas breakfast. So mine was like the big traditional breakfast. There's sausage, there's bacon, there's hash browns, like actual cut up potatoes, not frozen. There's eggs, there's orange juice, there just everything. And it's all hands on deck to make it. It's this big production, and I love it. Delicious. My mother-in-law took a different approach and always has a make ahead breakfast casserole that she puts in the oven, and that's breakfast. So it's simple. I love both of them for different reasons. But over time, we realized we can never remember whose year it was. And we were doing both of those breakfasts like throughout the year anyway. We were eating breakfast casseroles other days, and we were having sausage and eggs and toast. Like maybe not the whole spread, but to the point that it was like, it's not maybe as special as it was for my family because we didn't have bacon very much, for example. But we had bacon enough, it wasn't like, yay, Christmas breakfast.
Yeah,
And so what I thought about was 2 years ago, which was it was 2 years ago, then that would have been my son's first Christmas. I thought, what if we did like a breakfast grazing board, like a charcuterie board type thing? Because the other thing about my family's
fun.
breakfast is it was always after presents. And so you're hungry and you're opening presents, and then you all have to make this breakfast. And the bigger your family is, the longer that takes. And then you have breakfast. It's like, well, what if we set out a board of food, finger foods we all like, but there's something for everybody. We eat as we go. No one's starving. No one gets hangry. And so that's what we've done for the last 2 years. And we're,
What kind of
tweaking.
things? What
The
kind of things? I
first
want
year,
ideas. That sounds brilliant.
yeah, yeah. So the first year was like it was like store-bought muffins and like charcuterie stuff like so like deli meats and cheeses and nothing fancy. I don't make it look Pinterest worthy at all. I was like, here's food on a board. I had I had one almost 1 year old and a 4.5 year old. I was like, yeah, it's nothing fancy, but it's food on a board on a near the tree. And it's like so muffin tops and a few rolls, biscuits or something like that, and just like meats and cheeses and just kind of have at it. Especially all stuff that was baby safe to eat because, like I said, his birthday is in between Christmas and New Year, so he was very close to that. There was something everybody could eat. And then last year I tried something different in which was our first year here in Bahrain, and I ordered some stuff from a local place, like local pastries that I had to, because it's not Christmas
Oh,
here. So they delivered them Christmas morning, but they're also not American pastries. And I ended up being the only one who liked most of the foods that we got. So I'm gonna tweak that again this year and order from a different place. I was all excited, like it's kind of fancy. It's like these cool pastries, and they're just being delivered fresh on Christmas morning. But yeah, I don't know what I have to do. So we tried. So, like I said,
suck it.
this is a tradition. This is a tradition in flux, but we really have discovered that we like simplifying.
Yeah.
And so that's been one of our traditions where we just make our own, like completely out of just an idea, and like let's roll with this, and we love it. But some other traditions we've kept are my family's Christmas Eve was, I don't, we never had a traditional meal. If we were with my cousins, we were having a traditional Dominican meal because my uncle's Dominican. We weren't always with them. So I didn't have anything I was like specifically into for Christmas Eve. Um, my husband's family always did Christmas Eve pizza. And so we have adopted that and we have kept that one. And I think my family now does it, even though we haven't been with them for Christmas Eve for forever. But we always do Christmas Eve pizza. Our first year in Japan, we went and got Japanese pizza, and it was a little different, but it was
Yeah.
pizza.
There's like
And
sushi on some of the pizza there.
yeah, I think we had something with mayo on it and corn, and it was okay. It was Domino's, I think, because we could walk to a Domino's from our apartment there. Um, and so yeah, we order a pizza or two. And there was a couple years I found like a Christmas shaped pizza, frozen pizza from Aldi when we lived here in Aldi, and we incorporated that into the tradition. So I was like, it's really Christmas pizza, guys. We've kept that one. And we've also, to stay close to our families, we have two traditional Christmas parties every year. My family meets sometime in December over Zoom. It might be the only time all of us gather for anything that year, all at once. There's only five of us, but four, like my siblings still live within an hour of my parents. I very much obviously don't.
Yeah.
So they get together all the time, but this is like the one time a year we consistently get together on Zoom where we kind of have a similar format and but that's important to us. And then my husband's family gets Christmas Eve. And that is going to be tricky this year because we are living, one brother lives in Kwajalein and we're in Bahrain and we have the other siblings are all in the States. And so we have a 20-hour time spread. There's 20 hours time
Oh,
difference between
wow.
the one family and the States family, and then we're smack in the middle. And I don't remember how I don't think they were there for Christmas last year. I can't remember now, but anyway, so timing that's gonna be fun. But it's
Yeah.
Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve for somebody. It might be
Yep.
Christmas morning for some of us too. Might be Christmas
Yeah.
afternoon, but we will figure it out and we make it work. Whether we've had our pizza or we're going to or something. And again, that's so
That'll work.
but we get together and again over Zoom, and that's been a lot of fun. So we've kept those traditions. And then another thing that's been fun for us is that we kind of pick and choose traditions from different areas that we live in. Some of them last for as long as we live there. So right now, we discovered last Thanksgiving that most of the base in Bahrain gets together or comes to the galley on the far part of base that no one really has
Okay.
access to. And that is the place for Thanksgiving. Nobody really hosts a Thanksgiving anywhere in the area. We just all gather in the galley. So we were there and it was the place to be. But it was also 11 o'clock in the morning, which I discovered. I love a Thanksgiving brunch. And then you're done for the day. We're looking forward to that again this year. You're having all your Thanksgiving foods, but it's 11 o'clock in the morning and you're with all your friends and then you're done for the day. So that was kind of fun.
See,
The
I've known other military families who like doing that, and I'm sitting there going, but but then I get hungry again. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
then
the
you do something
Italian in
else
me,
for
but I'm
dinner.
just
Yeah,
like,
we did. We also did. We pre-ordered like a heat meat from the MWR, and so we had our own
okay,
Thanksgiving dinner. I think like the next day. I don't think we're going
okay.
to do that this year, just because that ends up being a ton of food, and there's only four of us. But you know, we still ate later in the day, but like the big production of the day was done, and that was nice. And I think some people got together for games. Some people, you know, but another one that we like here is that since Halloween is not celebrated in the country, we have a base Halloween party. And that was fun. And like I said, since where we're here now, Ramadan is a month that we have to observe. And there's rules for us to follow as well. Like not that we don't have to fast, like actually fast, but if we are out in town, we're not allowed to eat or drink.
Oh,
We're supposed to be a little extra modestly clothed if we don't already dress that way. We are expected to, when we're in public, observe Ramadan in a fashion. But that also means we get to go to iftar, which is the break the fast meal. And so last year
okay.
I went with some other spouses. We all went to a spouse iftar at a local hotel. And then my family went to an iftar where my daughter and I got dresses made in the style of local dress. And we went to an iftar together as a family. And so we celebrate Ramadan and iftar, and at least we're aware of it and trying to be respectful of their culture and learning about it.
Yeah.
Um, and then my favorite is, I don't know if you've heard but Japanese Christmas dinner is Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is,
Really?
yes. So this
That's
was
so
in like
cool.
the 70s, some like miscommunication from some marketing person and misunderstanding. Like they, something, I don't remember all the details. Like it's Google, this is something easily found on Google, but it became that KFC decided to market like the thing to do for Christmas if you want to be like the Americans is order KFC dinner. And so they've made this huge thing. You have to pre-order the meal in like by like December 6th. And then it comes in this cute Christmas bucket. You get like a little commemorative plate, and it's a regular KFC chicken dinner. But it also comes with a cake and the plate and the cute Christmas, like that one's paper bucket, so we throw that away. But we have decided that we will honor KFC Christmas dinner anywhere we can. And
That's
so
awesome.
in the States, we have to have KFC sometime around Christmas because KFC is not open on Christmas Day in the States. But it is in Bahrain, so we have KFC Christmas dinner without the cute commemorative plate, but that's okay. But that
That's
is
so
one
cool.
we've adopted. That was our first duty station. It's been one of our favorites. Our daughter was born there, so we were able to kind of whatever we can do. We've picked a couple other traditions we sometimes do. There's some Japanese holidays that we remember to commemorate if we think about it. I don't stress about it too much, but that's one we've definitely kept and done every year, and
That
makes Christmas
that's a cool one.
ours and meaningful to our little family and what we can take with us everywhere we go.
Yeah, that's really cool. So have you ever had to do Christmas without your husband?
Mercifully, no, not yet. There's always a change in that. We did have the one where we weren't together for most of the season, but he did come home for actual Christmas Day. I want to say that he showed up like midday Christmas Eve, and then was gone about 48 hours later. I think he had like 48 hours to be with me. And so we smashed as much as we could in those 2 days to like celebrate Christmas and the Christmas Eve party with his family. And we probably Zoomed with my family at some point, and then we did. That may have been before my family did our like big Zoom every year. I don't remember exactly. And I remember we went out to a restaurant for our anniversary, which had been the week before, and so it was a really smashed together Christmas, but it was on actual Christmas, so that was nice. So we've never had to do one apart, which is good.
Yeah, we've luckily only had to do one Christmas apart because there's been a couple times where he was supposed to be gone, but he made back in time, and so we've been really lucky. And then the one year that he was gone for Christmas, he was able to come home in October. So we did some stuff early. But we figured it out. I so we one thing that we've also I love live Christmas trees. My husband hates them. It's the
Mhm.
running argument in our marriage about live versus fake. Have you guys heard of the op oh gosh. Now I'm gonna forget the name. Of course, because we're in the middle of this conversation. It's Trees
I
for
don't think
Troops.
they distributors. Maybe I know we did something like that in San Diego. We got
Yeah.
one, if not a couple of our Christmas trees were donated to military families, whether it was through FedEx or not. So
That program is FedEx. So the only big
okay.
national program that does it is FedEx, but they only do it CONUS, Continental US. So OCONUS
Mhm.
doesn't get it, but
Right.
that's how we've managed to get Christmas trees for a lot of our time. And I'm so grateful for that because I love a live Christmas tree. But
So you'll laugh at this, I think. So our first couple of Christmases, we just were busy. We change up the year. Depends on the year and what we have available to us. We've had, I think have a little fake 3 foot tree that I had when I lived in a tiny hobbit hole of an apartment that I think fits in my current kitchen. And like the size of it. So I had a little 3 foot tree I could put on my dining room table, and it made it look like it was a big, tall to the ceiling tree. Let's go to my dining room table, my little eat-in tiny kitchen breakfast on the table. Anyway, so that's what I had. And so we
yeah,
had that. And so the years that we've either been busy or something's been going on, we had that. So I think our first Christmas or two in DC, we were first married. We had real tree. There was one year we were just nuts busy. And so we put the table on the same, or the tree on the same table, but a slightly bigger dining room than my hobbit hole. And then I mentioned the tree we had in Japan. There were trees that would come to Japan, but they were imported and they were always dry. And we didn't have a car. And
oh
we're just
yeah,
like, you know what? We're not going to do it. So we're going to put my 3 foot tree on this big box that we will wrap and hold on to for the rest of our time here. So again, it looks like it's got the height, but it doesn't. San Diego, I think we got free trees from the military. We did a mix of things. I think we had a local nursery, and when we were back stationed DC again, at a local nursery that I could go pick out Christmas trees with our daughter, and we had real trees then. When we moved to Bahrain, we decided that because we were moving, when we moved here, our son was 19 months old. He's now
Hmm.
going to be, he'll turn, so he turned 2 just after Christmas. He'll turn 3 just after this one. Toddlers and trees are fun. So when my daughter was, I think it was my daughter's first Christmas or second, we ended up with a felt Christmas tree, one of those ones you put on the wall and the kids can
Yes.
rearrange. That is our official Christmas tree while we were in Bahrain because of the tiny child that we live with, who is wonderful and currently in a throwing mood. And so we just have our felt tree on the wall. Last year it ended up we bought some things with camels on it that represent our families. And so I made a joke that, the stockings were hung by the camels with care. And we have this little felt tree that is just command stripped to the wall, and we put our presents all around it, and that is what's working for us right now. What will we do next year when we're somewhere else? I don't know. But we change it up every year based on where we live and the
And
age of our children.
that totally makes sense. Forever, we would get slightly shorter Christmas trees, like 5 foot ones.
Mhm.
And we had a really sturdy coffee table. So we'd have the live Christmas tree, but it would be on top of the coffee table.
Yeah, that is
So
what we
it was,
did his first Christmas.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just out of reach of the dog and the toddler, and
Yes. His yeah,
also so that the Roomba can get underneath and clean up all the needles.
yes. Very important. Yeah, I think it
Yes.
might have a 3 foot tree, or we had a real tree, but it was this big monstrous square coffee table that we stuck in the corner, and we put a tree way in the back, and the toddler just couldn't reach it. And that's what we did for his first Christmas, where we had the first grazing board. Um, and
Yeah.
my oldest was just nervous about the tree, so she never got into pulling things off. She was 7 months for her first Christmas, and then a year and a half for her second, and then she just never has been in the pull things off, terrorize it.
Our
But
three older ones were pretty good. They never really did. And then surprise bonus baby shows up and oh, she likes touching everything. And I'm
I
like,
love,
okay.
yeah, and traditions will change. I mean, we might change, and every kid is different. We only have the two, but they are night and day sometimes. It's like, how do you come from the same house?
Oh yeah, totally.
But
Totally. You're
and
just
they're
like, okay,
delightful.
well. So what are some, have you guys ever needed help with the holidays or anything like that? Are there any organizations that you guys have been grateful for?
We fortunately haven't. We are doing well enough financially, and that we are in good shape for that. So we are very grateful. We've taken advantage of the times that there are, whether it's meals or um, Christmas trees or things that are available for the troops. When there's enough to go around, that they are open to those of a higher rank or not to be. Um, and we've donated to the organizations that support like those who are not so fortunate.
Yeah.
So we are grateful for those. For us, you mentioned at one point that people need to get to know. We're going to figure out holiday stuff now because they need to get into those organizations. One reason that Oconus families need to know about, but get to plan about the holidays now is we need, if we're going to order anything or
Oh
get our
yeah.
families to send us stuff, now is the time. Um,
Yep.
because shipping it can get disrupted, it can get um, delayed I've ordered something for my family for Christmas already, and I'm getting delayed, and I'm like, it's October, and I'm still like, is this going to happen? And I don't know. And if I don't, it's fine. Um, Spoiler alert, it's some Lego, so we'll be okay if we don't. But so if my husband's listening to this, but
Yeah. Don't tell the kids
don't, or yourself,
or yourself. Yeah.
but totally order them
No.
instead. Anyway,
So in my,
but yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
Just
we ran into that when my husband was in Egypt because that was the year he
yes.
was gone, was he was in Egypt. And we kept telling family, we're like, send it ahead of time, send it ahead of time, send it ahead of time. And I actually did send stuff because I'm an OCD planner. Like I play, I usually am done with my Christmas shopping before Labor Day.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was one thing is I ordered everything ahead of time. I like being done before Labor Day with my shopping. It As the family's gotten bigger, that has not I
It
do
does
not
work.
meet that objective. I give myself grace.
Good.
But because of that, I had ordered this giant garland. Like, I wanted to feel like Christmas because we grew up in Arizona. We grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, my husband and I. So
My
like
husband's from Mesa.
people, yeah, my people go over the top because it doesn't look or feel like winter. And so
Yes.
I was I bought him this giant, like super elaborate garland to decorate his desk with, and a tree and like all sorts of stuff. And I had it shipped way ahead of time. So it arrived like just after Thanksgiving. And I'm like, you're decorating and you're showing me you decorated. And like nativity, the whole shebang.
Mhm.
And the nativity he had to keep in his bedroom because reasons, but the Christmas tree and the garland he could have out. And one of the locals came in and he's like, real? Is that real? And was like trying to, they were all the locals had their minds blown. I'm like, yay, American Christmas. But yeah, we had to be careful because I was gonna send the nativity with him
Mhm.
on the plane. And then we realized we legally couldn't because he had a layover in a country where nativities were illegal.
Oh, yep. That is, as a family in the Middle East, we have to be aware of these things.
Yep. So I had to ship him the nativity because that was fine, but he just
Yes.
couldn't fly with the nativity because he'd come home for October. And so I was like, oh, you'll just, and he's like, no, because I don't want to get thrown in jail. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
good point. So, make sure you know what international laws you're having to
Yes.
abide by.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm really grateful for Operation Homefront. They're a really great one. The
Yes.
USO, we've loved the USO has been fabulous to our family. Trees for Troops through FedEx. These are all these organizations, especially the USO and Operation Homefront. I will have all my normal Christmas links in the description, everybody, but start applying, start letting people know. And here's the other thing. If you are not a military family and you're listening to this, you can donate to these organizations. I know money and everything is tight, but even $5 can really help military families if enough people donate that. It makes a big difference when we can't get home for holidays. And then here's the other thing. I don't know, you guys are probably getting affected by this too. Military, we still do our job even when
Yep.
we don't get paid.
Yep.
We understand why government shutdowns happen. We get that the Congress has to figure it out. Personally, I feel like if we're not getting paid, they shouldn't get paid. But that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah. I'm into that.
But at the same time, we're still going to do our work. We still love our country.
Yep.
But it's hard. And so when we start to have financial struggles and people are taking out loans now in October, it makes them worry about Christmas. It makes
Yes.
them worry about all of those other things. And so I know if you have $5, if you have $10, FedEx, Trees for Troops, Operation Homefront, the USO, there are some really great, well-established organizations that do a lot to help military families. Take the time, look into those. And then there's local ones, the VFW, the American Legion. There's local organizations that will help military families as well. So Red Cross will even do stuff sometimes too. So
Yeah, and one that's coming up that might be a good way for people to help is there are places you have to look up where, but you can donate your Halloween candy and they will send it to troops. Um,
yep.
but especially for those who can't get their favorites. Like right now, we have access to a base, but when your husband was in Egypt, he probably couldn't. We don't actually have the same kind of facilities. And if they're on a ship, they definitely don't.
Oh
And so
yeah.
those kinds of organizations. So eat as much as you want, but if you start having ever extras or you go to a place where you have, let's say you have 5 children and you come home with 20 pounds of candy, buck some of that up and send it to, take some of it to your dentist, do a trade-in if they do that. And then keep your favorites. Don't skimp
Oh
on
yeah.
yourself. And then send some to the troops because there are families and service members that would really appreciate it.
Y-
Especially some of these are like 18 or 19-year-olds who've never been out before and they're missing home.
Yes.
And I wasn't married until I was 28, so I had time to be that single person being like, this holiday's so sad without my family. I had the time to process that. But an 18-year-old on a ship in the middle of wherever, they need that love. And
Oh yeah.
whatever we can do to brighten their day, that is an awesome way to do it.
Yeah, and so another organization that's going to be on the show coming up is the holiday cards. The lady who
Yes.
started that. And so that's another thing. If you want to help get holiday cards, maybe your kid's elementary school or if you homeschool or whatever, she'll be on next episode, I believe, talking about how you can do holiday cards for the troops and or veterans. And they don't all have to be deployed. Sometimes it's just if they're in another country where they wouldn't
Yep.
get stuff like this. And so these organizations are looking to find those places to send them and also find contributors now. And so what we did when my husband was in Egypt, I got a whole bunch of Christmas cards and we had people fill them out, I think at Halloween. I think it was a Halloween party.
Mhm.
And I shipped them over there. And they had, because it was like 17, it was a lot of different countries, soldiers there. So they had Colombia. So I had some Spanish speaking people we knew, right? Christmas cards in Spanish. We had some Canadians we knew write some for the Canadian soldiers. And so we just did a lot of different and sent them over there. And it was huge. They loved it, getting Christmas cards from all over. And it meant a whole lot because they were in the middle of nowhere and there was no celebration of these Christian holidays otherwise.
Right.
So, but well, yeah, thank you. These are just really great conversations to be having because I know in the community you said where you're living, there's a lot of expats. So sometimes there's Americans living away from family in, our Western culture, and it's not because of the military. And having these things and being able to build that sense of community and support each other is super important.
Yes. Yes, it
So
is.
thank you for what you're doing for your community there.
My pleasure.
And if anybody who's listening to this episode wants to get in touch with organizations or whatever, I'll have links, but you can also reach out to me. I'm trying to help the Holiday Cards organization right now. Are there anything that the people in your area might be needing for Christmas or the holidays or anything you know of?
I'm not aware of anything at the moment, but I am. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm on Instagram as Amanda Stretch, and my account's private, but you can definitely. I'll see any DM requests. Anyone who wants to find me there, and so it's AmandaStretch, and Stretch. I don't know if I spelled that right. Uh, anyway, uh, yeah, Amanda Stretch, and they can reach out to me, and I can keep my ear to the ground about what we might need out here, especially with
Yeah,
the shutdown and different things. But yeah, absolutely, and happy to coordinate anybody that wants to just do something on their own too.
sweet. That's perfect. If you'll send me that to put in the description as well,
Yes, I will
so
spell it
that
right.
way. Oh, you know what? I'm
It's
I'm dyslexic. I like links. I like links
it's
because I
10:30
can't
at
mess
night
them
for
up.
me.
So yeah, no, but it's all good. We're all good. But that way, anybody who is interested in supporting expats or military communities, they can reach out to you for yours, and then I will have links of other organizations that help the military community as well. And if
Yes,
you are a military family and you're needing help, get the help. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Don't feel like you don't deserve it. Take
absolutely.
it.
Your
Take the
family's
help if you
doing the
need
hard
it.
work. Your family's
Yep.
doing the hard work, and I mean, even if we don't have to, we don't always ask for military discounts, but we appreciate them when we get them. Um, and discounts or freebies or whatever it is. It's in this current climate of life, it is great. It is helpful to feel like you're making a difference and having gratitude expressed to you in whatever way you can get it, because we are all making sacrifices and being far, far from home. And it is a great adventure to be living in the Middle East and thousands of miles away from my parents. But my kids won't know a grandparent Christmas unless we make some different choices. Or somebody travels a great distance if we do that. And that's something we're brainstorming for some future Christmas. And we just don't know. But it won't be commonplace like some families. And it's great we have Zoom, military families, Zoom and Skype Like that was 20 years ago with Skype. Now we have Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
FaceTime. My kids can call their grandparents within a small window the morning and evening of every day if they want to, but they can, and that's great because 10 years ago that wasn't an option. There's a great app called Caribou. Um,
Caribou.
it's
Okay.
Caribu, and it is heavily discounted for military families. I want to say it's
Oh,
something like 90% off for military families. And it is an app that you can read, play, or watch together different toys and books. Toys, I say it's online toys and games. It's sponsored by Mattel, so it's a lot of things that are themed within the Mattel world.
okay.
But these are like the books are actual real books. Some of them we have the hard copy of, but you can read a book together with your grandparents, or you can play a
Oh,
game or draw something together. We haven't done any of the watching, but there's videos you can watch together. I will send you the link to this as well. But that is
okay.
that is something my family does. We have Caribou time set up for my kids with my parents weekly, and we do it occasionally with my husband's parents as well. And only the military family needs the account. You can set it up with your grandparents, and then they're just part of it. And so that's a way to stay connected when you're far, far away from home. And
Yeah. We have
yeah,
certain books that we have a copy of, and then my dad and my mom have a copy of. And my mom used to read those books to my kids before she passed away. Now my dad does. And so they can still have story time. And then I'm really grateful that my dad's able to travel and visit us a lot. So
yeah.
that's
My
been a
our
huge
grandparents
blessing.
come when they can, and we visit them when we can.
Yep,
But it's that's part of it's a good world that we have these digital ways to keep in touch with our family, but
totally.
do sometimes miss that. I could really use a babysitter tonight. What's grandma doing? We don't get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, I had a family member who was talking to me about something. She's like, why don't you just blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, because I have a toddler. I have a
Yeah,
toddler and my husband's in the army. She's like,
not a thing.
oh,
Yeah, I recently saw a discussion about why certain women aren't coming to the evening activities because they're tired and it's bedtime for their kids. I'm like, because they need to put their kids to bed and they've been with them all day.
yeah,
Like don't look at my role. I'm like,
I've really pushed for more activities to be on Saturday afternoons.
yeah, afternoon Saturdays are great. People are more likely to be home.
They're
Wednesday
more
night at
likely to
7.
be home. I know. They're more likely to be home. Teenagers are more likely to be available if your husband isn't. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
yeah, whatever. Whatever.
exactly. There's like look at the circumstances of the activity, not just like do they have support? Because it's not like we're only just now in the habit of getting a babysitter once a month. And
Yeah.
we don't miss bedtime. And so and because we don't have those kinds of, we have to go find our village. We have to be part
You
of the village and
do.
make the village. And it's
Yes.
all part of
Okay.
it. But you have to, because it still doesn't matter if, like, right now, my immediate neighborhood, all of us have 10-year-olds and younger. None of us have kids that can babysit. And so we're all busy at bedtime. And and like the teenagers live half an hour away. So that's why I'm like, once a month, I will get a teenager, but we're still going to be home before bedtime. And anyway, this is not at all related to traditions, but it is part of the sacrifice of a military family
No,
that lives
it
far
is,
from
but it's also
families.
something to keep in mind if you're trying to help military families in your area. Maybe the
Yes,
best thing you can do, and this is what our Chaplains Association did before COVID, and I wish they would still do it now, is they'd get a bunch of the teenagers on post to sign up to help babysit, and then all the chaplains would get together, and parents could sign up to have their kids come and play games at one of the chapels, and then they could go Christmas shopping without their kids.
I love it.
So that was a
Bring it back.
wonderful. Yes, bring it back. We can circle on back. So you know what? It's October. You've got time. If you want to start prepping something that you're in a military community, you've got a military area, maybe you can set up an activity like that where the youth can, the teenagers with some adult supervision, because that's always
Yes.
good when you've got large amounts of kids, can play games and just hang out with the kids for a couple of hours and the parents can go Christmas shopping without the kids around. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for joining me. I'm going
You're
to have
welcome.
you back so you can tell us more about all of your fabulous fun living in foreign parts.
Happy to
Um,
talk about it.
but this was awesome sharing holiday tips and pointers for anyone who's away from home. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
I hope that some of the tips and tricks we were able to share in this episode can help you with your holiday preparations for this season. And also, if there are any veterans who are listening, please let us know. And military spouses, if you've got a story or information you want to share, veterans, I want to record your story for your families and for the future. And we are going to be highlighting veterans all next month for the month of November. So here's something I want to do in the comment section down below. Put any traditions or ways that you celebrate the holidays when you're away from family, or maybe your service member is gone, as well as any other organizations that have assisted you when you've been struggling or when you've been away from family. So post them down. Let's get a conversation going in the comment section below. Remember to like, subscribe, click it, and stick it to the algorithm. I can't do it without you guys. So thank you for your support. And as always, let's be the good that we want to see in this world. I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you've been listening to Life of a Military Wife.
Spouses and veterans, hearts that won't quit, telling the truth about all of it. This life we live is hard and real, giving a voice to the lives that we live. But this life we live is warm but strong, and every story deserves its song.